Sometimes I would admire the really raw artists of the 60s. And maybe I felt like I was too Midwestern or something, that I didn't have that kind of really avant-garde bravery in society. Maybe. Now, as a teacher, I think, I was thinking the other day that what audacity I had as a young teacher, because I had no concept whatsoever on how to teach art. At least now I know that I didn't. But when I first taught, I had no butterflies or anything. You know, I don't think I prepared a lesson plan or anything like that. And I never did in 40, how many years of teaching from 1968, essentially 1970 to 2010, 30, 40 years of teaching. And anytime I drove into school, I was thinking about, well, now what am I going to have them do today? What's going to be the assignment? And never did a lick of preparation, except once a year if you had to have a syllabus. I would kind of envision certain problems, whatever. But I didn't have any reservations whatsoever about teaching. I just did it. I just thought that's... and ironically, where I learned to teach were a few things. One was probably the Boy Scouts, because I was a patrol leader at one point, maybe even Cub Scouts. And in the Army, I taught some classes on fire direction, which was a kind of thing you do for mortars and howitzers that has to do with numbers and trigonometry, and I taught those classes. And the same thing was true then. When I taught those classes in the military, I just winged it. I didn't know what I was doing for the first couple months or whatever. I just kind of winged it. I had a vague idea about what I was going to do. And I think teaching people who are essentially your age, that is, when I was in, I had been through the Army, so maybe I was a little older than actually most teachers. So I hadn't just gone to graduate school and undergraduate school. I'd been in the Army for 3 years also. So I did have I was teaching kids who were basically my age. I mean, I guess I was 23 years old, 24 years old, something like that. Students were 19 years old. Sometimes they were same age as me. In many cases, when you're that young a teacher, many of the students know more than you do about a lot of things. That is, you'll find many students who, if you're primarily an abstract painter, students who are draftsmen who could draw a figure or draw whatever very well, they're right there in your class. And early on, I found out that the best way to teach was if somebody wanted you to show them how to draw something and you didn't think you could draw it, you just sent them over to the student who could draw it. The student could help them do it. I never had pretended that I could. I would always say, you can't draw everything. You can't be an expert at everything. So that had a lot to do with my method of teaching. And in fact, at West Virginia University, I had this thing, the tutor. I can't remember what I called it, tutor something program, where each graduate student was a tutor was a mentor for an undergraduate who worked in a style similar to them, which I thought was closer to the reality of the art world. So So in the art world, that happens all the time. So, and it's why should they have to study about what, under me, if I'm painting stripes or minimalist paintings or whatever, when they want to do landscapes. So it's much better for them to study technical things particularly, and things about hand-eye coordination and sensitivity with the brush from somebody who does that sort of thing, and then I can deal with the critiques and whatever.